All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We are transporting ourselves straight to Nagano Prefecture, Japan. Specifically, we're heading to a place called Aoki Village. I want you to picture this, a quiet, perfectly serene valley completely framed by these towering, majestic mountains. It's the kind of place where time just seems to move a little bit slower, you know? But today, we're not just here to admire the beautiful scenery. We are going to embark on a really unique investigation of its history. We're going to peel back the layers of time to uncover the deep, deep memory of this land.
So here is the central riddle we're going to be solving together today. What exactly is the oldest thing in Aoki Village? I mean, is it the famous 700-year-old temple? Is it the 1,300-year-old road running through the valley? Or is it something much, much older? Keep that question right in the back of your mind as we go through this.
Just to help us grasp the sheer scale of what we're investigating here, consider the number 4,000. That is the modest present-day population of Aoki Village. Just 4,000 residents living out there amidst this rich nature and beautiful rural landscape. But contrast that small number of people with the massive 10,000 years of memory we are about to uncover. These folks are the current custodians of a deeply layered, incredibly ancient history that we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, let's dive into our first layer, before human history.
You see, before we even get to the famous temples or the ancient roads, we have prehistoric human settlements from the Jomon period, and before that, the geological formation of the land itself. To really get to the bottom of this, we have to strip away human civilization entirely and look at the very foundation of the village, long before humans even had a concept for what a village actually was.
The absolutely crucial point here is that the true oldest things aren't made by humans at all. They are the mountains surrounding the village, Mount Komayumi, Mount Jukkanzan, and Mount Ogami. These mountains sat there for millions of years before a single person ever walked the valley. So they're really our first solid candidates for the oldest thing. I mean, they provided the water, the shelter, the forest resources that eventually allowed the very first prehistoric Jomon period inhabitants to survive there in the first place. Without the deep time of the earth, human history here wouldn't even exist.
Moving right along to our second layer, let's look at footprints and ancient names. This is where we start seeing the first traces of organized human society.
So if we move our timeline forward from the Silent Mountains and those early prehistoric hunters, we find the first traces of organized human movement, the Tosando Road. This was an ancient official highway created by the centralized government in the Nara period, over 1,300 years ago. Long before modern cars or paved roads, this simple dirt path was the main artery. Think about it. Government officials, traveling monks, merchants, they physically crossed the exact same valleys that we see today.
And this brings up a super fascinating question from an expert at the local Board of Education. Why here? What role did Okjairiki actually play back then? You see, a road isn't just dirt. It's actually a historical record of human migration. It's this physical imprint of human purpose that has somehow survived for 13 centuries.
But you know, footprints aren't the only things our ancestors left behind. This brings us to a concept I absolutely love. Place names are defined here as the verbal fossils of the land. Just let that sink in for a second. Spoken words as intangible historical artifacts. Buildings crumble, roads change course, but a name, that gets passed down from parent to child, mouth to ear, for hundreds or literally thousands of years.
Just listen to these ancient local names from the village: Tazawa, Togo, Kutsukake, Naramoto. The exact moment these names were born is totally lost to history. But even without stone monuments or written records to back them up, the voices of past generations live on every single time a resident today speaks those words. They carry the hidden memory of old traffic routes, local features, and ancient daily life. It's like a secret code hiding in plain sight. All right, let's shift gears to tangibles and living relics and take a look at the physical history we can actually touch today.
When most of us think of history, we usually think of magnificent physical structures, right? Well, in Aoki Village, that means the 3-story pagoda at Daihoji Temple. It was built in 1333, right in the middle of this turbulent shift between eras in Japanese history. And it is so stunningly beautiful that it's affectionately called the pagoda of looking back, basically because visitors literally can't help but turn around to look at it one last time as they leave. But is this 700-year-old architectural marvel truly the oldest thing on the temple grounds?
Actually, no. As a local temple representative points out, the temple isn't just the 1333 wooden structure you see today. The accumulation of human prayer, of faith, and reverence for ancestors on that specific plot of land is actually much, much older than the building itself. The structure is really just a vessel for this continuous, unbroken stream of time and belief.
And that deep faith, it's preserved in smaller, older physical objects, scattered all throughout the area. We're talking Buddhist statues, temple bells, stone monuments, and traditional gongs. These physical relics aren't just dusty old museum items. They are tangible memories. They carry the lives, the hopes, and the very real struggles of the individuals who crafted them, the people who prayed to them, and all the generations who protected them through wars and changing eras.
But, as one local resident reminds us, there is a whole other kind of living relic in the village: ancient trees. Trees are literal living history. A centuries-old tree standing in a shrine or village square is this silent witness. It stood right there, looking over the Edo period villagers, it survived through the rapid modernization of the Meiji era, and it watches the economic growth of today. It holds an immense, sprawling record of time within its trunk, and it doesn't need a single written word to do it.
Let's step out into the fields now with landscapes and unrecorded stories to see how history gets written right into the earth itself.
There's a really key distinction we need to make here. We've got tangible history, the temples, the statues, the things we can put our hands on. But parent right alongside that is intangible history, agricultural boundaries, local folklore, unrecorded legends. And sometimes the absolute most enduring history isn't found in some grand, imposing building, but in the invisible knowledge woven into the everyday, routine lives of the villagers.
Take the rice fields, for example. As one local farmer points out, an everyday rural landscape is actually a living historical document. Really simple things, like exactly where the water flows, which slope is used for planting, or where a stone boundary wall sits, those are centuries-old rules. They are the accumulated wisdom and survival strategies of ancestors, passed down year after year to ensure the community could continue to thrive.
And then, of course, we have the unwritten stories that simply refuse to fade. Back in the Edo period, there were the Gimin, the righteous martyrs. These were just ordinary villagers who stood up against harsh social systems to protect their community. Now, the specific legends weren't always officially recorded on paper or carved into stone by the authorities. Instead, they were kept alive entirely through oral tradition, shared quietly around the hearth, simply because the villagers decided these sacrifices must never, ever be forgotten.
And that brings us to our final layer, the accumulation of time. Let's finally resolve our initial mystery.
Think about all the layers we've just uncovered together. We started way back with the mountains, standing there for millions of years. Then we added the ancient roads and spoken names, surviving for centuries. On top of that, we placed the physical temples and ancient trees, enduring for hundreds of years. And finally, the living memories, the agricultural fields, and the unwritten stories of today. It's like a giant puzzle. Aoki Village's history is clearly not a single point in time. It is a deeply layered accumulation.
So, the crucial takeaway of this whole explainer is this. The oldest thing in Aoki Village isn't a single object. You can't just point your finger at one building or one rock. The true oldest treasure is the accumulation of time itself, continuously building layer upon layer into the present moment. It is the incredible fact that all these vastly different eras coexist together in that one valley, right now.
And that leads us to a final thought I want you to take away with you today. When you walk through your own hometown, what invisible layers of history are you stepping on? I really encourage you to look in your everyday surroundings, the bend in a local road, the name of your street, the oldest tree in your neighborhood park, as a vast, layered mystery just waiting to be explored. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep uncovering the history right beneath your feet.